What a wild ride of an episode. Welcome guys, we just finished watching episode 6 or chapter 14, which was unfortunately called The Tragedy. As soon as I got that title screen, I knew things were about to go down, and boy they did. It started very somber with the Mandalorian testing out Grogu's name just a tiny bit more. I think that was a nod to the fans mostly to get accustomed to his new name. I think Dave Filoni understood way back when he even filmed these that the fans would have just a tiny bit of a difficulty getting used to not calling him Baby Yoda anymore, or kid, or the child. Now he is officially Grogu, and the Mandalorian understands that, together with his Force abilities that he now needs to focus on, and hopefully on Tython a Jedi will come as they head right for Tython, which I thought we would get more than what we see in the Old Republic era, but in the modern era is just a barren land with greenery around, but they go directly for those ruins that Ahsoka mentioned to the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian quickly picks up that he cannot land on top of that ridge, so he lands the ship down below and they travel by foot to the sacred place, to the Seeing Stone. However, both of them are not knowledgeable enough in order to activate or reach out with the Force. For the time being, the Mandalorian puts Grogu down on the stone, but both of them do not know how to activate anything. And all of a sudden, as they're searching for their answers, we see a ship approaching their location. And it is none other than Slave One. I wish I could have recorded my reaction when I saw that ship. It was nostalgically beautiful how I let out a scream, and I knew that Boba was now officially back. In previous episodes, I really thought that he was just not in it anymore, but now I realize he was really after his armor, which weirds me out as to why he didn't go after Cobb Vanth, but that's a different story. So the Mandalorian quickly picks up on danger, leaves Grogu there on the rock, and goes after these trespassers. As soon as Mando leaves though, Baby Yoda figured it out. By touching the stone and using the Force, he had activated some sort of Force ray shield that was simultaneously protecting him and giving out the Jedi call. The call for his survival, the call for his new teacher. Mando though is preoccupied to say the least. As he is approaching the unknown figures, he all of a sudden gets a blaster barrage just as a warning, and we hear the familiar voice of Boba Fett. Leaping out of the shadows is our now nomad-looking Boba Fett, who has been traveling without his armor, and what he quickly reminds the Mandalorian is exactly that. He does not want the child, he does not want the Mandalorian's Beskar. All he wants is his own armor that belonged to him and his father. And the classic line, of course, when Mando asks, "Are you a Mandalorian?" to confirm it, Boba gives a very, very familiar answer. He's just a man making his way throughout the universe, just like his father before him. Now that's of course a callback to Luke Skywalker, who tells the Emperor himself that he is a Jedi, like my father before me. That's an interpretation of that line together with Jango Fett's line in the prequels. Since Boba's allegiance does not belong to the Mandalorians, Mando refuses to give the armor. Now Boba uses different measures. He tells Mando that he has a sniper up on that ridge, pointing her gun directly at his companion. If Mando shoots, then the kid is dead, followed by him as well. This leads us to another revelation where we see Fennec Shand had survived. Boba Fett had saved her using cybernetics, similar to how Anakin survived and Luke got back his arm, basically giving us an indication that technology had improved to a higher degree than before in the Star Wars universe. During the Imperial era, we got to see Luke get his hand back. During the Republic era, we also got limbs for Darth Vader. These were all mechanical. Fennec Shand, though, was cybernetically saved, but it was not limbs. It was her guts directly, her abdomen area. So practically, if you think about it, we have gone leaps and beyond now by saving people in the Star Wars universe. I'm not a huge fan of it because if Fennec Shand was saved this way by Boba Fett, this means that there is a lot of people out there that could be saved as well and come back from the dead. But hey, we've resigned that it's Star Wars and nobody's really gone. So Mando quickly realizes the gravity of the situation as they put all their arms down in his jetpack, but it is right now that the problems get deeper. The Imperials had arrived. You see, they had put a tracking device on the Razor Crest, and now they were here. A contingent of stormtroopers is coming after them. What we get next is what I truly wanted. More than a Boba Fett Mandalorian standoff where they shoot at each other, Dave Filoni did the most amazing thing. He made Mando and Boba Fett partners. This is the thing that I wanted to see more than anything else. They team up together with Fennec Shand. The fighting that ensued was simply beautiful. Mando is trying to do two things: shoot at stormtroopers and also save the child from danger. The problem with that is this force ratio does not give him the opportunity to even approach the child, as Mando at the end gives up the notion that he could pick up the child in this state, and so he leaves Grogu temporarily for him to come back when Grogu is finished giving out the Jedi call. Remember the fighting scene that I said? This was Boba Fett at his prime. Using only the gaffy stick, he crushes every single stormtrooper that comes by his side. We really see the melee skills of Boba Fett. Those are highlighted in this particular choreography more so than his blaster skills. Fennec Shand also proved to be extremely dangerous and a sharpshooter, and as both of them are fighting not only stormtroopers, but we see more relevant things with the new Empire. We see stormtrooper bombers that we hadn't got the chance previously with, which is a regular stormtrooper armor, white with yellow markings. In the midst of fighting though, Boba Fett gets a glimpse of the Razor Crest, knowing full well that inside there his armor is waiting for him. The armor that was passed down to him by his father. Now Mando and Fennec Shand are completely surrounded. Barrages of stormtroopers are coming after them, and right at the nick of time when it seemed like it was all lost, the old, new, and improved Boba Fett showed up right at that moment, crushing every single stormtrooper that attacked them. Using a multitude of ways outside of his blasters, he used his rockets, he used his melee weapons. It was just a sight to behold. Seeing Boba Fett back, the pinnacle of this show, in my opinion, it has gone now to a new, different level. From what we are seeing in Season 2, episode by episode, I don't think we can go back to Season 1 and watch that with nostalgia. I think Season 2 has upped its game. Is it non-Star Wars friendly? I don't think so, and Dave Filoni just went full-on Star Wars. You must have seen the movies, and outside the movies, you must have seen the Clone Wars and Rebels shows too in order to watch the second season, and that's what makes it better, especially for Star Wars fans, is the deeper we go, the deeper we understand the lore of things, not only the origins but the aftermath of where we left these characters. Boba Fett is officially back, much stronger than in the movies in my opinion. He has gone through a lot, and out of the ashes of the old Boba Fett from Return of the Jedi now comes this super Boba Fett that could carry anybody on his back. Regardless though, the Empire does not stop. Moff Gideon is above the atmosphere waiting for the stormtroopers to do their damage on our gang. Way up from above, Moff Gideon shoots down the Razor Crest and destroys it completely, down to ashes. This was a pretty sad moment in the episode, realizing that we will never get to see the Razor Crest ever again. And without further ado, he releases his Dark Troopers. Mechanical and fully ready to go, they deploy them from the Star Cruiser and they go down to pick up Grogu, who is now weak from using the Force, using all of his power to reach out with the Force and call out a Jedi from the all-seeing rock. Is desperately trying to go back up there, save him together with Fennec Shand. Unfortunately, it is too late. In that weakened state, the Dark Troopers pick up Baby Yoda, and they fly off with him in hand, with Mandalorian unable to do anything but watch him get snatched. Now Boba approaches them with Slave 1, but does not shoot them down, since shooting them down would mean Grogu could be harmed as well. Boba elects instead to follow them, and what he sees gives him the chills. The Empire is back. He recognizes one of their cruisers that belongs to the Empire, and above it, Moff Gideon was waiting for his ultimate prize. Mando is now left without Grogu and without his ship. Everything he has ever loved was now gone. He had to scramble just to find his Beskar spear. What we next learn from Boba Fett gives us a bit of closure in the debate between is Jango Fett a Mandalorian or is he not. Using a projection, Boba Fett shows the Mandalorian his family tree, him and his father Jango Fett. Not only was Jango Fett a Mandalorian, he even fought in the Mandalorian Civil War. This gives us the final word directly from Dave Filoni, that now we can finally move on knowing that Jango Fett is indeed a Mandalorian. There is no debate anymore. There is a possibility that some might not consider Boba Fett to be a Mandalorian since he is a simple clone, but that is to be discussed more specifically than just a simple conversation, because if he is in the family lineage, Boba Fett is officially the son of Jango Fett. He acknowledged him as his son and not as his clone. So in my mind, there is no debate about Boba Fett either. He is a Mandalorian too, and that's why Mando gives up the armor to him, because he is a true Mandalorian. And Boba Fett tells the Mandalorian that until they get the child back, then Boba and Fennec will be in his service. They owe him a debt. It was because of them that he lost the child. Well, with that, the Mandalorian travels back to Navarro to find a new Republic Marshal in Cara Dune. She had accepted the position from the New Republic, but what the Mandalorian needed now was to spring a trap with Miggs Mayfeld, the Bill Burr character. He was now serving 50 years in prison in the Carthon chop fields. In order to get to the Imperials and to Moff Gideon, Mando needed to devise a trap using that character specifically, and Cara Dune was there to help. This sets up the next episode perfectly because our focus now, and I think this will drag on by the end of the season, is him saving the child by any means necessary. We close out with a banger as per usual. Moff Gideon is overlooking the bridge similar to Darth Vader. In this episode, he has very underlying Darth Vader tones all throughout. Ruthless in his nature, he enters the prison chambers to see GROGU manhandling 2 stormtroopers using the Force. It is very possible that his experience on Tython might have amplified his Force powers, or simply him being angry really gets his Force going. It amplifies everything that he was taught. Moff Gideon goes on to taunt Baby Yoda, who is now weak from using the Force. We see another glimpse of the Darksaber, and as soon as GROGU reaches out to take it, mocks him again by telling him that he is not yet ready for such weapons, and instructs the troopers to cuff him. The last closing shot is of innocent, defenseless Baby Yoda. GROGU is now officially a prisoner of the Empire. So with 2 episodes remaining, I truly think that the last 2 episodes will focus completely on saving GROGU, and I think the finale of the season will be a Jedi coming to train GROGU finally. All these things and more in other episodes, but guys, thank you so much for watching this review, and if you enjoyed, leave a thumbs up down below, subscribe for dailies. Now you can have an awesome day, Star Wars fans. I'll see you in the next video, and may the Force be with you. Until then.